was the combined symbol of life, light, consciousness, motion, and mind.
And reserve their truth for the few who are ready to comprehend and master it. From lip to ear, the truth has been handed down among the few. There have always been a few initiates in each generation in the various lands of the earth who kept alive the sacred flame of the Hermetic teachings, and such have always been willing to use their lamps to relight the lesser lamps of the outside world when the light of truth grew dim and clouded by reason of
All
neglect.
was planted to reward the children of light with healing and abundant
When the wicks became clogged with foreign matter, there were always a few to tend faithfully the altar of the truth, upon which was kept alight the perpetual lamp of wisdom.
with long life, with fruitful seed of everlasting blessings, with eternal joy, immortality of
The
eternal.
lips of wisdom are closed, except to the ears of understanding.
It was the dragon of the mysteries.
The principles of truth are 7. He who knows these, understandingly, possesses the magic key before whose touch all the doors of the temple
It
fly
approaches
open.
space. It sleeps upon clouds. It never approaches.
The 7 Hermetic principles. 1. The principle of mentalism. 2. The principle of correspondence. 3. The principle of vibration. 4. The principle of polarity. 5. The principle of rhythm. 6. The principle of cause and effect. 7. The principle of gender.
And those who would discover it must journey
The ancient universal wisdom
and
is
inaccessible
to bring to life inside themselves as a sacred service to humanity. They were fully aware that the major part of this wisdom was for future humanity. They thought that the great masters would come in the future and make use of their work. They believed that without them, the masters, the benefactors, would not be able to help human beings. That people would therefore sink into the darkness and ignorance and depravity that is seen so often around us and eventually destroy one another.
You will be able to work out and apply these principles. If not, then you must develop yourself into one, for otherwise the Hermetic teachings will be as words to you.
The technique of a scene initiation consisted in plunging deep inside oneself to find again the source of divine existence, which then allowed one to recognize the inner level and also around in the outer level, the living and divine
The AuksOne
which animates
Podcast.
everything.
Interfacing with multidimensional entities are what would be commonly termed aliens, which is funny because we're here in America taught that an alien is most commonly a Mexican day laborer. These entities, or holographic beings as they have been described by those so fortunate or unfortunate to meet them, tend to have a particular waveform appearance, which seems to occupy the physical world around them, similar to the Predator in stealth mode, or a Google artificial intelligence produced artwork where everything that has entered the viewfinder lens is then smashed and superimposed together to form a cocktail of hallucinogenic-esque figures of abstracting ideals which seem to form an overarching composition, albeit clusterfuck, of pulsating visual orgasmia. While in conversation or communion with said creatures, it is written by many that initially they are very inviting and not at all surprised by the shock and awe value that most unsuspecting partakers of the keystone behold when they break through for the first time and make acquaintance. Some say it's a motherly figure that assures you that you are safe and just relax while you take the ride of your life on an unidentifiable, phantasmagoric ordeal. And yes, that was an acronym for UFO, big pun intended. Most individuals who have remembered their ordeals tell us that it's highly probable that there was no vocalization ever taking place, and the aliens communicate via telepathy, or maybe they were just narrating the entire experience themselves. Some people, who would by other people be either considered foolish or chosen, have said that after multiple experiences and interactions with these long-told tall tales of extraterrestrial counterparts, continued exposure to these invisible forces have been said to be linked to both schizophrenia and quote-unquote genius-level idealisms and inventions. Contact with these sources are thought to be linked to Moses, Ezekiel, and Enoch.
It ain't no misconception that ever since our inception, we've been objectified by viral injections, subjected to hybrid infections, vaccinated at least 9 times before 5, only to later be declassified as war crimes. They fed us herbicides, injected insecticides. Shit, this just in the sky spraying lithium and pesticides right now. almost the greatest genius eugenic genocides in history, yet we defy, mutate, and reflect the gods, afflicted by the system, arrested, developmental, detrimental to society syndrome, subjected to a reckless life of probably not sobriety, testified against by every liar this side of the great divide again and again. Y'all need to repent and reconcile. I'm emailing complaints to the devoid of ethics committee department. Who made government aids pipeline through your veins? Your stock value aids move from the open market to the private bank, an online web page. Sign your name away in vain. Password and sigil on a slimy slate. Now you're trying to hide your face behind a fiery gate. Trying to rewire your fate. Branded a corporation to indemnify you from a conspiring case. How clever. However, we are now on to your endeavor. Got you on audio and Carda.
We need to get past divide and conquer, man. We need to devise and conquer. Tribe and convert. Rewrite the song words. No longer tied down. I'm flying now. My phone is fried and time zone can no longer be told by ley lines if I'm walking or lying down. My choir prose now permeate areas of the minds like choir hymns fill the cathedrals. Great domes reverberate off the world's smallest violins. We pay tolls, pay trolls to let us spin the wheels of misfortune. But there's a minimum buy-in.
While living in New York, during the 2012 presidential elections, Obama versus Romney, the polls were split, enough to ensure a critical political overview from a young, opening, massive mind of inquiry that until that point, as well as today, gave a fuck about the past, present, or future. However, as it seemed America's mind was made up, and they were ready for a change, to the new change that they had just previously initiated, the Upper East Coast, mainly New York, would be ravaged by a hurricane that has since been downgraded to a superstorm. With the damage and insurance frauds that were to ensue, it was a shoo-in for another 4 years of free phones and political kickbacks. Needless to say, before the end of Obama's second term, he would pass the same health insurance law that Mitt Romney had executed in Massachusetts before he left the governor's office, stating that anyone who didn't have insurance during the fiscal work year would owe according to his earning bracket at the end of the tax season. History, it seems, cannot go without a sense of irony. So here we are, several weeks before election time, and the American mind is ever more aware and awake to the fact that there's a little creepy, crippled hand that rocks the cradle. Still, in other news, we are only intelligent enough to give a fuck long enough for the long road ahead and the strong hold on the neck of the back of the seller of the snake oil. Experts confirm that it's secure and firm. Fast forward to a few years ago, unprecedented information about our potential president surfaced and was bursting out of a seemingly partial, though not entirely conservative narrative directed by the mythmakers spinning fake news from inside the deep state. Whistleblowers and skin flute players who were sure this time the American people would open their eyes enough to catch a glimpse of the inside fix were crushed and disheartened to discover that those who would risk their trust funds to divulge damning, irrefutable evidence of corruption and the highest levels would be blackballed on social media for community guideline breaches of terms and conditions. And the ever shorter growing attention span of the people would be lost indefinitely. Then, as if by divine intervention or a magical magi-induced miracle, on the night of the supermoon, certain individuals in California's poorest region would ingest massive amounts of psychedelic substances and crack the space-time continuum, ushering in an alternate universe, an obscure reality where Biff is now the richest clown in town, president of the United States, and fucking your mama while deporting your little cousin, your Thea, and half-brother. Hello, kitty. Hello, kitty. Hello, kitty. In other news, the remaining baby boomers who chose lives of artistic expression and heavy inebriation are rallying behind the burn in a desperate attempt to retain a small portion of the tax monies they forfeited to their good friends at the government who told them to give them a call anytime they needed a glad hand. The government has refused to return calls from our producers. The baby boomers say they haven't been babies since the 1950s, and millennials are stealing all their quote-unquote good pain pills. On climate control, climate change, weather manipulation, or is it global warming? I forgot the politically correct public relation proper propaganda term that's best suited for these sarcastically sensitive days at this juncture. Basically, my point is that no one is quite sure the long-term effects that the heart facility's capabilities in conjunction with the Gwen Tower Alpha Wave 5G technology and the chemicals being sprayed out of those silver Air Force jets is truly going to have on the products of our environmental fuckery and the inhabitants who stand in the path of the weather war wagers of world wankery. In sports news, we found out that no one really gives a fuck, and there's just a large portion of American men who either have huge swollen sacks of testosterone that they can't seem to expend at their job or nagging wife, or just truly love watching other men do shit they can't ever do. Which I totally understand because I've caught myself watching granny porn and hardcore parkour and the maneuvers of new modern-day breakdancers, which are amazing. And did you know that they're considering making it an Olympic sport? Go figure. I hear Red Bull is the official sponsor of Clone, Human Heart, and Buy a Perfect Young Binder to Touch and Test Drive project that will be unveiled in 2025. The secret project collaboration between the University of Applied, get off his psychology, stop breeding in weakness so you don't have to depend on technology to ensure your pointless survival gear.
In art news, the mural arts are starting to pop up all over the country as building owners are starting to realize that all you have to do is have a graffiti artist paint his name in pretty colors on the surface of an edifice, and you can potentially avoid zoning laws while masking any part of the building that you may need to repair or renovate. In time, quote-unquote cool kids will want to move into the area so they can take duck lift selfies and Instagram photo shoots in front of said mural, driving up property value. And if history tells any truth, within 3 to 4 years after a new community council is in office, properly greased, a variance will be easier to pass, driving property value up, enabling the landlord to demolish said building while making a fortune, offering up location to investors looking to build a condominium project and displace the artist's family, who lived in the very rent-increasing, never-repaired, dilapidating building for the past 3 generations that he just helped destroy. Within a year, the artist's cousins, who happen to be undocumented day laborers, will outbid and replace union workers in a big dig-like zoning and building demolition and construction project. The Gospel of Juan, according to the garble of John Law. Praise be to frauds.
And now, a love poem. I've loved a red queen, and I've loved a white bunny rabbit. I've loved a divine androgyne and a seductive purple dragon. I've loved a valedictorian lawyer and an art historian teacher. I've loved liberty and I've loved justice just as freely and equally. Shit, since I'm confessing, I've also loved a harlot at the speakeasy. Thank you very much. This one goes out to the average Norman who really ain't got no passion for this. You ain't got shit. Even your man don't endorse it. You whack and pour piss. Or piss porous, lack importance, drunk, believe your whore hag is gorgeous. Your tag's toys. Get off my dick like that long gone obsolete flab of foreskin when I was like 3 months old. When the sun sets to Amun-Ra and erases the father's face from the waters, I move upon further up the ladder of the queen's chamber and drink of her silver goblet. The tinctures derived from fruit of her fabled garden. I'm her guardian angel. Remove her garter and gurgle her labia as she gargles my gargamelian gravy. Engorged ganglia, a gorgeous tale of generation. Get it, brother? All right, check it out. This could be my last joint of the night. This is AuksOne Podcast again. Here we are. Amplitude, or I'm just going to say to initiate inertia to make an atom move or amplify its magnitude. The innate greatest attributes are those which you naturally gravitate to and should navigate through hell and high waters and treacherous terrain to outlast your fate and try to outclass your ape. Exist on earth as it is in heaven on a terra and astral plane, past the poison professions, provisions, and useless platitudes, minding my attitude, aptitude, and attributes, a force to reckon with the dark side for Anakin to forever remain in paradise with Padme well after the pomegranate and fornication under a black-lit moon. Because all I ever want to really do is be back with you and Luch. Good night.
Am I lying to myself when I tell myself these things, when I'm alone inside of my own mind, speaking amongst myself? And all the varying degrees and angles of the human mind that so easily fracture to pieces of, how do you say,
holographic fractal universal overview of an overarching